Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys to make sure that you guys are on top of what is happening in crypto today. And really over the last week, and it's been a phenomenal week of news. I'm super excited to share what's been happening. Even today, we have some price movements, and there's been some developments that have taken place that I'm sure you're going to want to be aware of. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about plenty of stuff here. But as we like to do, let's go ahead and start off by taking a look at our browser here. We have CoinGecko.com, the prices. Let's go ahead and refresh, make sure we're up to date here. Yes, we've seen the spike recently, just like over the last few hours, where Bitcoin has now broken 44,000. It's at 44,179. So it's nothing like the death that some might have been expecting after the launch of ETFs. No, the prices have continued to rebound for Bitcoin, which I think sets a precedent for what people will expect when a possible Ethereum launch does take place. What's going on, Mastermind? Thanks for joining me, man. And anybody else just tuning in. So Ethereum is also up 2.1% over the last 24 hours. It has had a stronger week. It's up 6.1% over the last week relative to Bitcoin's 3.6%. Chainlink had a phenomenal week. It's up 24.4%. So back from the grave, many are saying renewed attention here for Chainlink. It's been a popular name throughout the various cycles, and it looks like it's going to be the same way perhaps during this cycle. So if you've been holding on to Chainlink, you'll probably be rewarded since it has not been forgotten about at all. Let's continue down here. Unfortunately, we have to go quite low here to find Monero. Monero has had a terrible week. Monero, the leading privacy coin, down 22% over the last 7 days. Last 24 hours, it's recovered some of the losses that were much more than 22%. It's up 24.3% over the last 24 hours at $128.53 as it rebounds off a lot of the, I guess you could call, fear, uncertainty, and doubt that has now taken place within the Monero trading community. So what is going on here? Well, it has to do with a delisting of Monero that's taking place here. So we're finding out that basically Binance is delisting. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, they're delisting a bunch of coins here. So they're going to be delisting ANT, so Aragon Network Token, Multi-Chain, VAI, so VAI, and Monero, XMR ticker symbol. They said that they periodically review the tokens that they list on Binance to make sure that they continue to meet a high level of standard and industry requirements based on landscape changes, regulatory changes, whatever else, and in-depth reviews. They might delist various tokens. So they said they're evaluating things like commitment of the team to a project. It's decentralized though, Monero, so I don't know if they can fully vet that. But anyway, level and quality of development activity, trading volume and liquidity, stability and safety of network from attacks, network smart contract stability, level of public communication, responsiveness to our periodic due diligence request, new regulatory requirements, evidence of unethical, fraudulent conduct or negligence, and contribution to a healthy and sustainable crypto ecosystem. So based on this, they said they're going to be delisting these coins. The one that most people, again, are talking about right now is Monero. So this will be ceasing. The deposits anyway will not be available after the 21st of February. It's currently the 7th of February. Withdrawals of these tokens will not be supported after May 20th, and the day after May 20th, so on the 21st, they might be selling some of these tokens and moving those into stable coins so users can get that. But anyway, it looks like that is it. It's over pretty much for trading coming up on February 20th for these tokens, including Monero. So that's why you're seeing this steep drop, and it's just a real shot here at Monero that it's being delisted from another major exchanges. We do know that the regulatory environment right now is very hostile toward privacy, something that Monero has really been behind along with other tokens that have done the same. I'm thinking like Zero Coin, is it? Like Dash as well, trying to cater toward privacy aficionados, but they want to know what's going on in people's bank accounts. And so it's becoming harder and harder to list these things. and stay compliant for exchanges. Binance has been in the crosshairs for some time now, so not too much of a surprise here. You're already not seeing that places like Coinbase or even Kraken are really offering these things, but there are other options that do exist if you have Monero, if you want to trade Monero. So there, as you can see, there's still quite a healthy amount of exchanges out there. Whether they're safe or not is really something important to vet. Of course, Binance was seen as one of the safer exchanges that won't be going down and holding your money and yada yada, but you really never know with these exchanges. It's better to just take your trade, get it out of there, put it in your wallet if you're really not sure. But you can see here, if you go to coingecko.com/coin/Monero and you go down to markets, you can see MEXC still has it. They have about 3% of the volume over the last 24 hours, still a healthy 8 million there. You have Biconomy, I've never heard of that one. Gate.io has been around for a long time. They have about $20 million worth of volume for Monero here at 7.17% of the volume. Most of the volume here for Monero is on KuCoin. You can see about $45 million worth of Monero. So it's not really like it's a small coin by any means just yet. And 14 pages, as I can see here, of various exchanges. Oh, Kraken. Okay, so there is some trading for XMR on Kraken. I really wasn't sure about that one. Also, you can see Bitfinex here, Pionex, KuCoin, some names that you might be familiar with. BitC, NiceHash. Okay, all right. I didn't even know you could really trade on NiceHash, but I suppose you can. Digifinix and so on. So it's still going to be available. It's not like you can no longer find it, but it's really bringing awareness to the fact that you want to see more atomic swaps. You want to see more decentralized exchanges supporting these kinds of services. So that, you know, screw it to the regulators in certain ways, and people can stay private if they want to for various personal privacy, security reasons to protect themselves. That's a big deal why people care about their own privacy. And there's many more reasons, but this was the precipitous drop that happened when the announcement took place. Chris Dunn said this: today's Monero crash is a solid example of why exchange access matters. Coins that have a single volume dominated by a single centralized exchange or only trade through a decentralized exchange are very risky. The best coins to trade are listed on multiple US exchanges, Asian exchanges, and DEXs. Another reason to avoid stuff like Hex. So he took a little bit of a jab there at Hex to make his point across. And people are like, really? You're going to compare Monero to Hex? I think he's just talking about liquidity again across various exchanges. It's getting harder and harder to find coins like Hex, and now even Monero's to some degree on any major exchanges. Joel Valenzuela had this to say: Monero dumped significantly upon news it was getting delisted from Binance. The delisting is not good, as it makes an essential sovereignty tool harder to access for average users, but in the end, it's only an early warning. Every freedom-oriented crypto, should be all of them, needs to be on as many DEXs as possible, especially cross-chain AMMs like Thorchain, Maya Protocol, Chainflip, Seridex, which is seemingly built for days just like today. Will Monero be okay? I think so. It has a robust community of users and plenty of tools to use it, but we'll all breathe a sign of relief when the am I allowed to say that? CEX world finally collapses. It's an attack vector. Call me Mr. Flintstone because I hit stone and I do it with a pit stone. Yeah, my raps are whack. What's up, Nameless? Nice to see you. Hey, Raz, have I heard about Blue Chip, the stablecoin rating agency? I have not, but that sounds interesting. Why do you bring that up, Raz? I'm interested to know what you have to say. Curb Shifter, what's going on? Binance delisted and disabled withdrawals right after. Clearly, they didn't have enough XMR reserves as suspected. Maybe it is the case. I mean, it's less and less people, I feel like, are using Binance, and it's getting harder and harder to access Binance. Although, maybe it is easier now than ever to access Binance, as you might be seeing if you've heard about Only Fake, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But before we get into that, there was another coin that slipped a little bit, but since has continued to rise. Not really a surprise to me because this has happened time and time again, is basically Solana. So this week, Solana went down for the 11th disruption or degraded performance in the past couple of years. Solana initially dropped like 3% during the outage. But yeah, for 5 hours, Solana went down again. But like, people just don't sell Solana because it goes down all the time. So not a surprise to me. Continues to go up. It's up over 600% after Sam Bankman-Fried has, fallen out of grace and fallen out of the scene. He was a big supporter of Solana. And since the crash of FTX, Solana has actually surged more than 600%, it says here. As far as the root cause, I believe we don't fully know what the root cause for this downtime was. There was an upgrade to version 1.17.20 and a restart of the cluster by validator operators that finished that outage. So it is back up. Feel free to continue to use Solana if you use Solana. I've actually never used Solana, although I hold a small position. But you know, they're doing their thing out there. GoDaddy and Ethereum name service bridge the gap between domain names and crypto wallets. So GoDaddy is like the biggest seller of domains. I believe they're really at the top there, and that's basically how you access a website, a URL, is that it turns some sort of name. Let's say you want to buy like x.com. I don't know who would do that, but let's say you want to buy x.com or some sort of human readable address. This kind of domain service will basically turn that into a string that's readable by the internet protocol. And Ethereum name service does kind of the reverse in a way, because let's say you open up your Ethereum wallet and you're looking at your address and it has like 0x followed by a bunch of digits and numbers you can never hope to remember. Let's say you want to accept payments. Is it easy to give somebody a string of addresses and on a piece of paper and be like, hey, yeah, good luck copying and pasting that when you send to me for some sort of payment? Instead, you might use the Ethereum name service to secure yourself a .eth domain. That would be like, for example, crypto.eth, and then you could send funds to crypto.eth, just a human readable address. So kind of like the reverse of how domains usually work. But anyway, there's been a partnership taking place here between GoDaddy, that sells like regular domains, and Ethereum name service that sells these Web3 native domains for Ethereum, whereby you can go on GoDaddy and link your domain that you've gotten through GoDaddy and link that over to your wallet and your address. So for example, if you want to, let's say I don't use GoDaddy for cryptosnews.com, but let's say that I did have GoDaddy for that and I linked that to my Ethereum wallet that is compatible with ENS, then I might be able to accept funds for like cryptosnews.com. You would just send that through Ethereum, which I think is really, really cool to actually hear about. So we'll see how this gets adopted. Apparently this has been possible in the past, but through this partnership, they're making it free for users or owners of domains at GoDaddy to be able to link to ENS. So I think an interesting development there that you might want to hear about. I know many of you guys have ENS domains, so just wanted to share some info about that if you had missed it. And yeah, I had seen this on CoinDesk, further reading into it. It's funny because there's actually some sort of lawsuit. It says the announcement of this recent partnership comes as ENS, Ethereum name service, is still in court with GoDaddy after they sued them over the sale of an ENS domain, eth.link. I guess, you can have a disagreement with somebody over one thing, but still remain good friends and still be happy to partner on other things. And we see eye to eye on a lot of things. Nick Johnson told CoinDesk. Nick Johnson is the founder of ENS, but it's so funny. It's like you're stabbing your friend and giving him a hug at the same time. I don't understand business, man. I don't understand this corporate world we live in, but whatever, man. There's always room for love, I suppose. Anyway, Coinbase Assets is also depreciating support for Bitcoin SV, headed up by the likes of like Craig Wright, who another one has been falling out of favor, just losing court battle after court battle. It's not working out for Craig Wright, the supposed person who thinks that he is Satoshi or wants people to believe that he is Satoshi or whatever. But anyway, his project, Bitcoin SV there, I don't know if you guys are still holding that one. It's not going to be available on Coinbase in any sort of way. They're depreciating all support for Bitcoin SV on January 9th. So in January 9th. Wait, no, that already happened. Anyway, as a reminder, any BSV funds in your Coinbase account have been liquidated and converted to the equivalent market value of another supported digital asset and credited back to your account, minus any transaction costs. Please note, after accounting for transaction costs and subject to market fluctuations, you may not have received any compensation for the remaining BSV in your account that was liquidated. But anyway, yeah, no more BSV. You won't be able to see that available at all, like even your portfolio, even though you couldn't really do anything with it on Coinbase. So just a heads up in that regards. If you're like, what happened to my BSV? Yeah, I got liquidated and turned into something else, most likely. So this is what I was talking about. Maybe you were trying to, you were really excited because you read this news and you're like, I'm gonna go on Binance and use this and finally get access to trade all my favorite altcoins. I'm gonna trade some Monero. Well, this would have been what made it easier for you if Monero was still going to be available on Binance, although it is going to be available till the 20th for 13 more days. You can still do your trades, I suppose, on Binance if you get access to it, if you don't have access to it, and so on. But anyway, This is a report that from 404media.co, inside the underground site where neural networks churn out fake IDs. So there's this site called OnlyFake that threatens to streamline everything from bank fraud to money laundering and has implications for cybersecurity writ large. So anyway, this seemingly real driver license was generated using this OnlyFake site. It's an anonymous operator who started running this site, started accepting crypto assets for payment for this product. But basically, like seconds, you could generate a license or some sort of passport or some sort of ID that could get you past KYC verification. So you might not be able to access certain exchanges because of your jurisdiction or so on. You could instead use your picture or choose from a pool of generated pictures and create one of these IDs that is very convincing and has fooled various exchanges, according to this report, into believing that an ID is real and it's a legitimate verification. This one, for example, is against a carpet background. I've also seen it against like a bed, because when you do these pictures, they ask you to verify for whatever product. They're like, take a picture of it. You just kind of plop it down somewhere and zoom in, so it looks pretty realistic to see a carpet in the background. And now with the proliferance of these AI generated images, I mean, have you guys been seeing what's been going on with many of these different things? They just get better and better. They can finally do hands. They can do text in many situations now, where that was not possible like a year ago. So it's just going to get harder and harder, of course, to know what's real on the internet, especially as video starts to get better and better. Voices, you've probably seen some of these ads, I know I have, here on YouTube, where Joe Rogan, or his voice, right, is trying to show some sort of product, and it's not really Joe Rogan, but it kind of sounds eerily like him. He just might pronounce like one word wrong, but it's all computer generated. So it's just going to get harder to know what's real online, including verification, because of what we're seeing now with OnlyFake, this product. So OnlyFake .org says that it is going to be up soon. So it's down actually after this report came out and you started hearing about it all over tech media. It looks like because of pressure, for some other reason, the site is down for now, but surely there will be other sites that spring up to take its place, or maybe he'll start up somewhere else. Who really knows? The point is, it's becoming more and more difficult for exchanges and for products across the board to verify. And this is problematic as well, because if you have accounts online, someone could more easily steal your identity by generating something like this based off of images of yourself. So this is a very concerning cybersecurity issue that I don't think has not nearly enough attention. It's just so much going on in the world that it's hard to really focus and own in on what will be most relevant. But I think for you guys who are super careful and trying to be aware of cybersecurity, if only to protect your crypto assets and so on, you should absolutely be aware of this and be careful, if anything, because this could be used maliciously by you or against you. And I don't, of course, condone using it maliciously or for fraud or anything like that. But it's a real situation right now. So it looks like, John Wick is what the pseudonymous owner was calling himself. He said that the IDs were able to bypass KYC checks at exchanges like Binance, Kraken, Bybit, Wobi, Coinbase, OKX, and there's not much that these exchanges are able to really do about it in many situations. They could, for example, link to DMVs, but that's very, very difficult to do. I don't even know how that is some sort of like industry standard, since every state has like their own register of IDs. It would be something very, very difficult to do. And many of the exchanges don't want to spend the money on these kinds of compliance costs. And it is very burdensome for them to do so, especially if there's some sort of startup. It tightens the space even more to be able to do that. But OnlyFake claims that it doesn't manufacture forged documents, as it is illegal. Its term states that its templates are only for use in movies, TV shows, and web illustrations. Yeah, bruh. For sure, bruh. Anyway, there's one of Donald Trump right there. It says he's Australian. And what is that? Place of birth, Orange. He was born in an orange, according to this. Yes, totally checks out. Totally checks out. But what is interesting also is that these images that are generated to look like you took a picture of an ID, they also have image metadata spoofing, with users able to forge the GPS location, date, time, and the device that took the alleged photo. So it'll say like a Samsung S9 took this picture or at this time in this place. So it looks legitimate, all the metadata that exists about these pictures that can be inspected. So, and oftentimes verification checking services do look for that metadata as a way to determine authenticity. So crazy. This is really throwing a wrench in the works here. Juan Galt said, interesting, the slow death of KYC might be upon us. Only cryptography can save us from the AI apocalypse, actually linking addresses to actual humans through verification in some sort of way. Absolutely, I can see cryptography of in some sort of fashion, right? Hopefully protecting of identities and so on to the best of ability, that would be one of the better ways to do KYC rather than having all these different honeypots. And Toby Cunningham, Sir Crypto Tips, had this to say: imagine the headaches governments are about to have when they realize that by forcing people to KYC, they unexpectedly opened Pandora's box on fake IDs made by open source AI projects such as OnlyFake. However, this is very bad and nobody should do this, he said. Yeah, it looks pretty decent for a fake ID. I totally agree, Metal Gear. It could have fooled me, honestly, but I'm not a professional at checking for verification. But if somebody sent me that and said that was legitimate, I mean, I would believe it. Hey, nice to see you too, Befuddled. I'm doing quite well, man. Finally, like going back to the gym. I took like a whole year off, like I had mentioned, and feeling much better in a much better mental space. And life is, I think, turning around much for the better. I appreciate you sending that love and to the rest of you guys and for sticking around. It does mean the world to me. I'm excited to hopefully be doing more and more videos as I move into this next segment in life, let's call it. Anyway, MetaMask has made a partnership with Robinhood. They have announced. So MetaMask is owned by Consensus. Consensus has announced in their blog that their Ethereum wallet, which is basically a browser extension that can plug into different websites and enable you to do different transactions, trades, yada yada. Really, really cool product. I've loved it for so long. But anyway, MetaMask has partnered with Robinhood here, so you link it to your Robinhood account and use your balance on Robinhood or use your debit card or whatever to purchase things like Ethereum directly into your MetaMask wallet. So their goal is to try to, of course, reduce friction, make things more secure, and allow for self-custodial onboarding to Web3. And this is furthering that mission here for Robinhood. I think when it comes to privacy, this is something that's not great, of course, because you would have Robinhood linking your identity directly to your address. So if you're going to be using this and you care about your privacy, you probably don't want to buy your crypto through Robinhood or some sort of way directly like that. But it is a new way to buy it. And I'm a supporter for sure of different on-ramps for people to get onboarded and to interact with Web3. So really cool adoption. Wanted to give you a heads up on that. I didn't get to take a look at what the fees are. I know MetaMask does take a cut on other kinds of purchases that they enable through there, and they're really, really steep. And because of the overhead with Robinhood as well being involved here, I really don't know what those fees look like, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Be careful though, before you make some sort of purchase, make sure you check those terms and give me a heads up in the comments if it is something egregious. Or if it's something like free, that would be really cool for the rest of us to know as well. Anyway, Celsius is finally paying people starting today. I saw this posted by Aaron Bennett on x.com. And this was on January 31st. He said it could take 1 to 2 weeks for everyone to get their email and claim code, but this is great news. So the bankruptcy here is concluding for Celsius. Celsius is picking the pieces, handing out whatever's left to the folks, and doing it by various means. So I had seen this. I hadn't got any sort of email, so I was kind of following it up. Then I saw this. I can confirm that my brother received his coins from the Celsius bankruptcy estate, said BTC Kyle. Okay, so this is legit. People are seeming to get their money. I trust BTC Kyle here. He's not steered me the wrong way with dishonesty. Not intentional dishonesty ever, of course, and support of the show. Adam, he said, just got my ETH settlement, roughly 16% of the total value I had in there. That's pretty low, but he wrote, further, what can we expect in total getting back? I've heard so many varying numbers. I'm totally confused at this point. This person, poor person, bro, I had 10.88 ETH and I got 1.4. I'm about to lose my freaking mind. Someone said it seems to be between 10 to 11% in total back, still really, really low, and was about a third for me. So it's just like all over the place what I'm hearing right now that people are getting back. And then as I was putting this video together, yeah, pretty low, Metal Gear, I actually got an email from Celsius. You have Celsius claim in ETH and a separate one. So I have two different emails, one for ETH and one for Bitcoin. And that is available at PayPal or Venmo. So this is from Stretto Celsius Network. Make sure you double check your emails. Make sure it's not some sort of phishing account. But anyway, it has a claim code. It's like some sort of like, it's like a coupon code, basically. You go into PayPal or Venmo, and you input that with your birthday, and you get your distribution of ETH in one email. It has a claim code, like I mentioned, and Bitcoin in a different email. Make sure you redeem both. It tells you your total claim distribution amount, and there's in the email there's different instructions for basically how to do that. Make sure you have your PayPal or Venmo account ready. If you don't have one, create an account. Then for like PayPal, you go to the crypto section, then you click Celsius creditor claims. I actually did it through Venmo. So through Venmo, I kind of regret using Venmo, and the reason for that is because it looks like I can't send from Venmo. I should have like thought about it more, but my PayPal account is a business account, so you can't use a business PayPal account. You might have trouble claiming through there, as I did, if it's a business account. Make sure you use a personal account if it's going to be through PayPal. Through Venmo, I was able to easily just go to the crypto section, input the stuff, whatever. I had to do KYC, but whatever. And yeah, it just showed up super quickly, the BTC and ETH there after putting those through. And for me, it was not a big amount, but whatever. I'm just happy to get some back. Anyway, yeah, let me know how that goes for you guys. It's nice to put this all in the rearview mirror. What a mess the last couple of years it's been, guys. I hope you guys get back a good amount. Anyway, Super Bowl. The next Super Bowl is going to be happening on February 11th. Kansas City Chiefs will face off against the 49ers. Not the Packers, sadly, but whatever. Anyway, it looks like a lot of advertisements are going to be coming from traditional companies. They're not going to be coming from AI companies. They're not going to be coming from tech companies, and they're not going to be coming from crypto companies, which is quite a change from what we've seen recently. It looks like for a 30-second spotlight under the limelight, it's expected to cost companies about a staggering $7 million. And I imagine some sort of auction system, so it'll probably go up from there, bidding up. But yeah, I guess not a lot of crypto companies, according here to Bitcoinist.com, are going to be advertising. But I have a feeling like, even reading this, like BlackRock is probably going to throw something in there, maybe Coinbase. I'm going to have to watch a Super Bowl just to see what's up. And if they do put up some commercials, they better be hella funny, because we all know only the funny commercials are the ones that stick in people's minds. Because I remember in high school, like, there was a day that the teacher didn't show up. We got a substitute teacher, and he popped in a VHS. Pretty sure it was a VHS at the time, into the TV there. And it was like the coolest VHS, because it was just a collection of the funniest Super Bowl commercials. And I thought that was brilliant. So if you have a really good commercial, it tends to get commemorated. And if it's for a good crypto product, not some sort of scam or fraudulent thing, I think that's great to bring awareness during like the most televised watched thing in the whole year, at least here in the United States. But I know this is huge internationally. Like, there are international soldiers who watch the Super Bowl all over the place. The U.S. has its freaking fingers everywhere. Jeez. Anyway, continuing on, BitBoy has announced recently that he's no longer going to be doing daily live streams. He had become supposedly the biggest of all crypto YouTubers. He had founded this company called Hit Network, and it became quite huge. He was getting all sorts of big partnerships. He hired a team. They were spending something like $25,000 plus a video just to produce it. I don't know. Maybe that's just recently with this new show, because basically he was ousted from the company. He had the company Lamborghini, which was a $350,000 Lamborghini Huracan, and he cried when they like dropped it off and basically took it for himself. He thought it was his Lamborghini. Turns out it wasn't. So like a business partner kind of repossessed it from him, and he did a live stream outside of the dude's house. Some of you guys might remember that. He got arrested for that. He had brought a gun and it was in his car. He was acting kind of delirious and crazy at the time and hurling all sorts of stuff, talking about how the mafia was supposed to be coming after him. Just seemed kind of out of it. But anyway, this New York Times piece, he finally ended up in the New York Times, talks about how he was in rehab in the 2000s for an addiction to methamphetamines. And I think that's interesting to note because it looks like he did quite well after that. He like co-founded a car wash or helped like the founder. He eventually started making crypto videos. He, after like joining a Christian college and marrying his wife through that, but it seems like crypto might have slowly made him go downhill. He was more and more focused on his Lamborghini rather than like how he initially started the show, being as like a regular person and seeing what crypto could do for them. And instead has recently resorted to, it's been talked about quite a bit through partners, like drug use, for example, like Adderall and steroid use and whatever else. And he had a mistress called the Duchess of Crypto. He called himself the Duke of Crypto, and basically like cheated on his wife with this mistress for a long time. He's going through a divorce now. So anyways, he's lost his company recently. He's lost the Lambo. He's lost his wife. I think he still has the Duchess with him. That's the Duchess right here. And yeah, no Lambo. That's the saddest part. He used the Lambo as a symbol of wealth, of prominence, of broness. Cassandra Wolf is the name of the Duchess of DeFi. She calls herself. 34, her fourth marriage. She's been married 4 times. Just a little bit of crypto drama that's been going on here, but there's all sorts of claims of sexual harassment that was taking place while he was running Hit Network, which he ran. He said like it was his personal account. The money that went into the account he used for personal things. He was paying the Duchess like $50,000 a week to work for the company, embezzling funds. Talks about how he used to grab people in the crotch, guys by the crotch, and pinch their butts because he saw it as like a locker room culture, how he was running things in the business, and he couldn't separate business from personal life. But anyway, all of this is now fallout that he's having to deal with recently. He's spending $100,000 a week currently on legal fees. He's dealing with like multiple lawsuits. You guys know he likes to like sue all the time for defamation and for whatever else. But recently, like the Lambo case, which was supposedly stolen, his Lambo just did not work out in his favor. After about 2 hours in court, the judge, Jana Edmondson Cooper, ruled in favor of Mr. Diaz, who had claimed the Lamborghini. And the judge concluded that Mr. Armstrong, Ben Armstrong, BitBoy, had failed to prove that the vehicle was not a company car. Anyway, there's no win ever for me, he said, as he stormed away from the courthouse. I'm a very complex, misunderstood person, says this piece. I'm going to be rich again. Everybody kind of sees that. It's just a matter of how and when. It's it's one of the crypto dramas of our time. So that's why I bring it up to you guys. Crypto drama's fun. I should probably like have more crypto drama on the show. What do you guys think? Maybe not. Maybe we'll just stay serious as we've always done. Have we really been serious? No, we haven't been serious. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about following any more crypto drama, or if you guys have any juicy stuff, you can let me know, and I might include that in the show. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, Eric Balkunas had this to say. He is a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. This is in relation to the BlackRock ETF, IBIT. This is quite insane. So IBIT, the BlackRock ETF, only 17 days old. He wrote this yesterday, so I guess 18 days old now, but this is yesterday's numbers. It's in the top 5 already of year-to-date inflows, which means it's taken in more cash than 99.98% of all ETFs. Right there under like the iShares ETF, which are long, old indexes that are all parts of all sorts of retirement accounts, and Vanguard products that are very, very popular here. Vanguard, who hates crypto. They're protecting their customers by getting them into dollars, fiat currency. Yeah, good luck with that, bros. Anyway, yeah, I think this is great. It's a great sign. It's showing that there's a lot of interest here for Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs, and getting some sort of diversification in that direction or exposure. And I think this is really, really massive. This is a huge story that I think will become bigger as time goes on. Huge inflows, $3.2 billion of inflows year to date. Mammoth inflows. Anyway, I'm excited for what's coming. I hope you guys are too. Inflation of Bitcoin versus Ethereum. When you factor in the burning of transaction fees, such as occurs with Ethereum EIP 1559 since the merge, it is Bitcoin that has the significantly more challenging task of requiring buying pressure to offset its inflation than ETH, an order of magnitude difference. Ethereum has actually been net deflationary since the merge 502 days ago. So, and then he shared this chart here. You can see the Bitcoin inflation, 1.716% per year. Still pretty good. Beats fiat by a large margin here, and the halvening will bring that down even more. But ETH is actually net deflationary at 0.206%, so less than 1% over the last year. Good times, good times. I think this is going to be wild for Ethereum. I know I say this all the time, but and I know this just started as Ethereum news, and I might be a little bit biased. I'm biased, but I think based on like actually following this stuff all the time and being a Bitcoiner first and foremost, I guess like a stock dude first, then a Bitcoiner, then like Ethereum. Whoa, you know that girlfriend meme? Like, yeah, like that meme. And it continues to be that way. So pretty happy to be primarily an ETH guy still, because what's coming next, I think, is going to be wild with, I mean, the bull cycle. We're talking about deflation here. We're talking about Ethereum ETFs. We're talking about constricted supply on exchanges as more and more of it gets staked, less liquidity available. I think this season, this next one is going to surprise a lot of people with, if they were thinking maybe it's just not possible to get huge gains with crypto. And this is my personal opinion, not financial advice. I got to say that. I'm personally very excited to see what's coming, and I look forward to sharing it with you guys, the journey here. Anyway, let me know what you guys are into. We'll finish with our quote of the day, as always, by Henry Ford. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Thank you so much, guys, for showing up for the show. Much love. I really sincerely mean that, and I hope I can catch you for the next one, hopefully Wednesday. Take care.